Guys, Bitcoin's price is making a very important move right now that I need you all to be watching extremely closely, especially over the next 48 hours. I believe that whatever Bitcoin decides to do over the next 48 hours is likely going to determine what the next couple weeks looks like here in the crypto market. And so in today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is that Bitcoin's doing, exactly what you can do to make sure you are prepared for this decision it's about to make, and exactly what I'm doing right now to capitalize on this move as much as humanly possible. So we have a good bit to get into today, and I'm going to try to make it quick for you guys. So let's not waste any more time, and let's go ahead and jump straight in. So, in order for you to understand what Bitcoin is doing right now, I need to give you a bit of a recap. You need to understand a bit of context. So, over the last week, Bitcoin's price has been interacting with what's called a descending channel, which is this descending structure you can see right here. Now, Bitcoin created this descending structure all the way back in the middle of July, which is when we first caught it. Now, when we noticed that this descending structure was being created, I told you exactly what to do. I said, in these situations, one of the best strategies to implement is called the descending channel strategy. Pretty simple, I would say. And the way that this goes is like this. What you're going to do is you're going to be looking to do dollar cost averages in the bottom 25% of the descending channel. You're going to do smaller dollar cost averages in the 25 to 50% of the channel, or the dark green zone. And then you're going to take profits from those purchases and trades whenever Bitcoin pushes up towards the top side of the descending channel. And you're going to do it over and over and over and over again until Bitcoin does eventually or inevitably break towards the top side, because Bitcoin has an over 90% chance of breaking to the top side of these descending structures. And that's exactly what we did. We jumped in, we did our purchases here, here, here. We opened up a long trade right here, actually. And then we went in and we took profits on all of those purchases and trades right here as Bitcoin did try to push towards the top side. Now, as Bitcoin's price did start to venture upwards, I told you all, like, hey, now that we've seen a fake out to the downside, Bitcoin might try to use that fake out and turn it into a breakout towards the upside. So be prepared for a possible move upwards. And what do you know? Bitcoin's price absolutely sent it towards the top side, pushing all the way up out of the channel, up towards $122.4 thousand, getting very close to that previous all-time high. But we didn't fall for the trap. 2 videos ago, I told you, listen, although this is great and I love to see this from Bitcoin, I'm being cautious. I'm actually looking for extra levels of confirmation right now because, in my opinion, this is still a risky breakout for Bitcoin. And there is still a chance that it fakes out up here and it comes right back into the channel, just like it did to the downside back here. So we're going to look for multiple daily candles closing out here. We're going to be looking for our good old friend Bob T, which is a breakout and a back test, which is when we break out to the upside, then we come back down and we back test that previous point of resistance and try to flip it into some support, right? We were looking for those extra levels of confirmation because, listen, we knew people were going to get trapped here. And that's what we talked about even in yesterday's video. We knew people were going to get trapped here thinking that Bitcoin was only going to run to the upside, and we were prepared for it. And well, what do you know? Fast forward to the modern day, Bitcoin is now pulling back. It is now back testing, leaving a lot of people liquidated who did open up those big leverage long trades. Gladly not you guys, but leaving a lot more people confused on what happens now. And so now that we are in the modern day, today, what I am going to do again is I'm going to tell you why this pullback, this back test that Bitcoin is doing right now is just so dangle and important, and exactly what you and I can be doing in order to prepare for it. Now, before we move into that, I did want to tell you about a company I did recently partner with, which is Corn. Now, I know it may look a little bit memey, but trust me, there's actually a ton of utility to it, especially for those of you who have Bitcoin specifically. Now, if you're a Bitcoin maxi, I know you're probably going to say, I only have my Bitcoin in a cold wallet and I don't want to use it. I totally get it. But for those of you who are a little bit more DeFi centric, this is actually a really cool thing that I really like personally. And the way that it works is actually very simple. So what they allow you to do is to actually use your Bitcoin for DeFi purposes. And the way that they do that is they have a token called the BTCN token, which is what you can see right here, the BTCN token. Now, the way that this works is you can deposit some of, or all of, I guess, if you want to, your Bitcoin into their Corn app. Now, when you do that, they're going to give you BTCN, which is a one-to-one peg version of Bitcoin. It holds the same price. It's the same thing. It's just a pegged version of it, right? And when you take that BTCN, you can now use that BTCN in the Corn ecosystem in order to start capitalizing on yield farming, staking, lending, borrowing, whatever you want. And so it's a cool thing because you can still capitalize on Bitcoin's price movement because it'll go up and down with Bitcoin's price, but you can now use this token in order to capitalize on some of the different DeFi protocols that they have, such as many of the apps within this ecosystem. I think it's actually extremely smart, and I don't think enough people actually utilize DeFi in the right way. Now, listen, DeFi can be risky. There are bugs, there are hacks, there are drains, there are all these things that can happen the second that you take your Bitcoin out of your cold wallet. That is true. But the truth of the nature here is that if you only interact with things that you know and things that you trust, you'll typically be in a pretty good spot. And so because of that, I actually thought that this was pretty interesting. And so again, I did partner up with them recently. Obviously, guys, do your own research. The moment that, again, you start moving your Bitcoin, things can get risky, but I like it. I've moved some of my my Bitcoin into the Corn app myself. And I do have every intention of actually showing you some of that in the next coming weeks if we get in more of like an altcoin season specifically, where I think that's more appropriate, right? And so, with that in mind, I am going to leave the links to this down below. It's very, very cool the way that they do it. And I do think it does bring even more utility to Bitcoin for those of you who are more, again, DeFi centric. So, feel free to check that out down below. I'll tell you guys a little bit more about them again in future videos. Now, going back to Bitcoin, as I mentioned before, now that you have a bit of a recap, a lay of the land, the context that led us to today, let's talk about what's going on now. So, as I mentioned before, Bitcoin's price is pulling back. And this pullback is extremely important. Now, you may say, Tyler, Jesus, I mean, just get to it. Why is this pullback so dang important? Well, the reason this pullback is so important is because it's going to be the deciding factor of if Bitcoin goes up or down. And I know that's like super base level, but it's just the truth. If Bitcoin's price fails to establish support here, if it fails to flip this point of resistance into a point of support and give us what's called an RS flip, it's going to enter us back into this channel. It's going to likely see Bitcoin head all the way back down towards 114, 113, or $112,000. The altcoin market's going to go down with it. Things are going to get ugly, and it's going to be hard for Bitcoin's price to recover. Not impossible, but hard. And so, of course, knowing that that could be on the line, I think you would agree with me that this is very important to be watching. On the flip side, though, if Bitcoin's price is capable of flipping this previous point of resistance, boom, into support, giving us this RS flip, guys, I'm under the understanding that that could be the very thing that Bitcoin needs to run up towards 126 to $130,000. I mean, the writing is on the wall. Everything that could get Bitcoin pumping is available. We see M2 going up. We see liquidity increasing. We, of course, know that we're entering into a hopefully an interest rate cut environment sometime soon as a result of the terrible jobless reports that we got recently. Absolutely horrible stuff there. I mean, the stars are aligning in some capacity. Bitcoin just needs to do it. And if it's going to do it, it's going to do it off this level. Okay. And so, what I want you to do right now, as you're watching this video, pause this video, open your trading view, and I want you to go right here, get the parallel channel tool. And what you're going to do is you're going to draw a parallel channel that goes through this high from July 18th, this high from July 23rd, and this high from July 28th. And you're going to pull it all the way through and bring it all the way down towards those lows. It doesn't really matter. It's more concerning about the top side. And what you're going to do is you're going to watch that key level of previous point of resistance, now support, extremely closely. If at any given point Bitcoin's price falls below this level, just know things might start getting ugly. And there will be a chance, right? Maybe Bitcoin wicks below it, then stays above it. Sure, that's fine. I'm talking about actually breaks down under it. If Bitcoin breaks back down under that key level of support, just know I'm going to make a video for you because that's not great. But if Bitcoin's price is capable of maintaining this previous point of support or previous point of resistance, flipping into support, we're in a very good spot. And I'll obviously update you as you pay attention. So all I want you to do right now is just watch. Sit back and watch. As a matter of fact, that's what I'm doing, guys. I'm not buying. I'm not selling. I'm not longing. I'm not shorting. I am simply just watching because I think it is a 50-50. It's a bit of a coin flip. The reason why I say that, you know what? I'm going to give it a 60-40. I'm going to say a 60% chance that Bitcoin holds, 40% chance that it falls below it. I'm going to shift it a little bit solely because the macroeconomic, perspective is looking okay right now. I think it gives the bulls a little bit of an edge. But the reason there is still such a big chance of Bitcoin falling back down into it, look at liquidations. Liquidations on the 1 day, heavily pushing towards the downside. On the 7 day, look at that. I mean, golly, like we're seeing what 11.75 billion liquidations for Bitcoin if Bitcoin's price falls to the downside. 30 day gets even worse. Now we're talking about over 12 billion worth of liquidations to the downside. There are still a lot of people who are betting big money that Bitcoin's price is going to go up. And if the lizard people who just finished licking their eyeballs for the morning look at that and say, "Oh, y'all think it's going to go up? Watch this, bang bang," and then Bitcoin's price falls, now we're going to be in a bit of a rough spot. Okay, so there is that threat. This is something that is very possible, and it is very reasonable to assume that Bitcoin could pull back here. So I'm giving it a 40% chance. But what I think is more likely is that Bitcoin will flip this previous point of resistance into support and try to use it to climb to the top side. But it's going to be a very hard fought battle for both the bulls and both the bears. And it's going to be extremely important that we watch this very closely. So yes, for you commenters, yes, I am saying it can go up or it can go down. My job on YouTube is to not tell you what's going to happen, but it is to tell you what I believe is going to happen, what the probabilities say, and what I'm doing in response. I don't have a crystal ball, but I do have experience. And that's what I'm offering you here. Okay. And so take this for what it is. But at the end of the day, I genuinely believe what happens right here is going to decide everything. So watch it extremely closely. You guys know every single day over on Instagram, I post updates about Bitcoin and altcoins, letting you know what's happening. So if you want some more snappy updates from me, feel free to check that out down below. And if you are trading Bitcoin yourself, you can check out my link to BTCC. Each one of you watching this video right now can get up to $10,000 in bonuses. So feel free to check all that out. Don't forget to check out Corn if you are more into the DeFi side of things. And just know I'll be here every step of the way, updating you as Bitcoin attempts to hold the support. So watch it very closely. Go in, go draw your key levels, and I'll update you as soon as something big happens. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you all very soon.